nowadays you got to have that confidence because people nowadays.
Before we get straight into the podcast, I just want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Declan Kirby GAA Star. Declan Kirby GAA Star Championship Journey. It's a series of GAA team children's books written by primary school teacher and GAA coach Michael Egan. You can check it out in the link in the description down below, of course, as well. Follow the trials and tribulations of Declan Kirby and his team at Smithgreen Gaelic Football Club, recently formed but promising GAA team. The book is now available in Easons and all good bookshops, so check it out in the description down below, and let's get straight into it. What's the story, lads? Welcome back to GAA Fan TV. I hope you're all keeping wonderfully well. My name is Aaron and this is the GAA Fan TV All-Star Hurling Team of the Year so far from the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship. We are now at the semi-final stage. We're down to the final four in the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship. Just 3 more games left in the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship. And what I thought I would do is make the All-Star Hurling Team of the Year so far. Who are the best 15 hurlers so far in the All-Ireland Championship this year, and you know, what is the best team so far in the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship. Now there will also be a football team of the season as well, All-Star Football Team of the Season. That'll actually be out tomorrow, so do stay tuned for that. But this is the All-Star Hurling Team of the Season, and if you are new around here, hit the like button and subscribe. I would kindly appreciate it. I do a number of hurling football videos covering all sorts of activity across Gaelic games, so do stay tuned for them, and do leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Now, do bear in mind, these are my choices, these are my decisions, and certainly I am just a regular GAA fan. You know, there's no expert analysis or anything like that coming over here. These are just my picks, and but do feel free to, you know, comment down below what what changes you would make, of course. And yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the goalkeeper, first of all, I mean, certainly a couple of choices. I think it was really between Patrick Collins of Cork and Shane O'Brien of Waterford. Owen Murphy of Kilkenny is a top-class goalkeeper, but probably hasn't had enough to do in the Dublin game. Dublin never really looked like scoring a goal at all in that game. So Owen Murphy never really had much to do, so he doesn't really get in the question here. And obviously Nicky Quaid, quite similar, although he was quite busy in both Tipperary and Cork. I don't think he gets in this team. So really between the two, I think Alan Nolan's been a good goalkeeper for Dublin so far. Well, in the Championship, obviously not so far because Dublin are out of the Championship, but it is Patrick Collins for me. I mean, that save, you know, in the last minute against Tony Kelly, you just cannot forget that. I mean, that is absolutely exceptional stuff. He actually made some big saves in the Limerick game, and he also made some big saves in the game versus Dublin as well. Like in the first half, Dublin had a lot of goal chances, made a couple of different saves to keep Cork in it. So I think Patrick Collins gets in there. I think his distribution has been fantastic, and obviously, you know, trying to follow up from Anthony Nash as well in the, you know, in between the sticks, following up from a Cork legend. So what a job Patrick Collins has done so far for Cork. He gets in as the goalkeeper. Shane O'Brien, like I said before, made a couple of good saves in the Galway game, and also in particular in the Tipperary game. But Patrick Collins gets in there for Waterford as the number 1. So we move into the full-back line. In at number 2, we have Tommy Walsh. 3 is Conor Prunty, and 4 is Hugh Lawler. Tommy Walsh, first of all, of Kilkenny, has been brilliant so far for Kilkenny this year. You know, an absolute, just what a performance so far from Tommy Walsh. I mean, you know, obviously when we think of Tommy Walsh, we think of the older Tommy Walsh, but so far, young Tommy Walsh, if you want to call him that, of Tullaroan, has been brilliant so far for Kilkenny. In the Dublin game, Dublin never really ever looked like getting in behind Kilkenny at all, and Tommy Walsh done a fantastic job on Dublin's attack on that particular occasion. Look, listen, there were some other potential options in there as well, like Adrian Dunphy and both Paddy Smith of Dublin have both been quite impressive so far. Ian Kenny and Shane McNulty have both done good jobs for Waterford. In particular, Shane McNulty on that side has been very impressive so far for Waterford, and Conor Gleeson, when he has played, albeit he got sent off in the game versus Galway. But I'm going to go with Tommy Walsh. I don't think there's too much of a question about it. In at number 3, Conor Prunty. Look, listen, I know Conor Prunty got turned very well for that Shamie Callan goal. Conor Prunty leaped out and actually got caught off guard and struggled a little bit in the opening kind of 10 minutes or so. Shamie Callan got a couple of goal chances, potentially even could have scored a hat-trick as well. But I do think other than that, Conor Prunty has had a very good season. Like, marked Joe Canning in the Galway game, done a phenomenal job that day. Limited Joe Canning's influence from play and done a cracking job there as well. And in general, although Shamie Callan scored those 2 goals in the Tipperary game, I thought other than that he was absolutely fantastic, and he gets in the team of the season so far. No real questions about it. I mean, in terms of some other players he could have went for, I mean, I've got Hugh Lawler in here, who is traditionally a fullback, but I do think he's been brilliant so far, so that's why he gets in there. But yeah, there definitely are some other options that we could have went for. Robert Downey's been impressive for Cork so far this year, but I don't think he quite gets in ahead of Conor Prunty. I like what I said, Hugh Lawler gets in at number 4. Now, Niall O'Leary certainly in with a debate to get in there. He was very impressive in the Dublin game, scored a point, but he was also sent off, let's not forget, in the Clare game, received 2 yellows and a red, of course, obviously, so he was sent off in that game, so I don't think he quite gets in there. But Hugh Lawler, for me, yeah, no debates about it. Exceptional in the Dublin game, just absolutely brilliant. And Kilkenny in that game in particular, it was their defensive output that really kind of led them. It kind of built the foundations for them in winning that Leinster title. And yeah, Hugh Lawler, an absolute veteran of the game for Kilkenny down the years, and he's been absolutely brilliant so far for Kilkenny, and no real two question marks about it. Sean Finn's been decent enough at times for Limerick, but certainly in the first half against Tipperary really struggled, so I don't think he gets in there. But Hugh Lawler for me gets in at number 4. We then move into the halfback line, and in at number 5 we've Calum Lyons, 6 is Diarmaid Byrnes, and 7 is Kyle Hayes. Very difficult putting the halfbacks together here, because certainly have been a lot of very good halfbacks so far this year. I mean, Calum Lyons gets in at number 5 and really came to life in the Galway game, brilliant in the Tipperary game as well, and and against Laois as well, kind of stepped up as the game went on. So Calum Lyons getting in there, what an addition he's been for this Waterford side since coming into the team last year. There were other options in this position. I mean, Tim O'Mahony's been brilliant for Cork. I've sung his praises already in a few different videos, but brilliant against Dublin, scoring 1-2, and and kind of offering a bit of defensive output against Limerick at different stages. But I just think Calum Lyons has been a little bit better in my opinion. James Maher was another good shout for Kilkenny, brilliant against the Dubs, hitting 3 points, brilliant coming off the bench against Wexford as well. And Dereck Gray of Dublin has been fantastic as well, exceptional in the Galway game, man of the match in the Galway game in my opinion. But I don't think you can look past Calum Lyons. He gets in at number 5. He's been exceptional for Waterford so far this year. And 6 is Diarmaid Byrnes. Diarmaid Byrnes hitting 3 points against Tip. Fantastic. Playing at wing back that day, but can play at centre back if needs be. And yeah, he's been brilliant so far for Limerick this year. And look, listen, in the Tipperary game, they certainly struggled in the first half, like what we said. But Limerick brought the fight brilliantly in the second half. And Diarmaid Byrnes was one of the men that really led Limerick to that, because just pressing from the front, getting forward, getting in and around the midfield, breaking up the loose ball, getting on the loose ball at different stages as well. So Diarmaid Byrnes, I don't think there can be too much doubts about it there. In terms of number 7, I mean, Kyle Hayes, what can you say? Scored one of the best goals of all time in hurling, and probably gets in for that alone in my opinion, because I actually think in the Tipperary game it wasn't actually his best game in all honesty. He struggled in the first half, but a little bit like Diarmaid Byrnes, when when it got tough, he got going. I mean, he was fantastic in that game, and I would expect Kyle Hayes to be in there at the end of the year as well, so I don't think there can be too much doubts about this. I think Kyle Hayes has been fantastic so far for Limerick, so he gets in at number 7. We then move into the midfield, and we've Jamie Barron of Waterford, and we've Dara Fitzgibbon of Cork. Jamie Barron has been fantastic so far for Waterford, coming back from injury for both the Galway and the Tipperary game, and I mean, all-star stuff so far from him. I mean, arguably, if Waterford are going to do something special this year, go on, maybe beat Limerick and potentially go on and win an All-Ireland final, I think Jamie Barron's going to win Hurler of the Year. I think he's been absolutely exceptional. I mean, Austin Gleeson might have something to say about that, but Jamie Barron has been unbelievable so far for Waterford. I mean, just like, even when he doesn't have that much space, he's hitting points from 40 to 50 yards. He's catching balls from opposition puckouts. He's picking the right pass. He's, finding Calum Lyons on the right-hand side when he bursts forward ahead of him. He's been exceptional so far for Waterford, and he's made a massive difference since coming back in, from injury. So I think Jamie Barron gets in there. I don't think there can be too much doubts about it. Dara Fitzgibbon gets in for Cork. I mean, Luke Meade maybe another option. Maybe William O'Donoghue of Limerick has been very impressive as well. But for me, yeah, Dara Fitzgibbon gets in. I think he's been brilliant for Cork so far this year. Brilliant at tracking back and breaking up the play when needs be. Hit 3 points against Limerick as well. So I think Dara Fitzgibbon gets in. I think he's been absolutely fantastic getting in at number 9. And at 10, it was Cian Lynch. And look, listen, certainly a lot of options going forward, you know, that we could potentially pick from. I mean, Aidan McCarthy's been brilliant from Clare. We could have easily stuck him in here. But I think Cian Lynch gets in here from Limerick, and maybe even Corrode Hegarty, you know, who was All-Star Hurler of the Year last year, might even have something to say about that. Maybe if he improves as the season goes on, he might just nick ahead of Cian Lynch. But I think when Limerick turned the tide on Tipperary in the second half, Cian Lynch, just at his overall pressing, I think was really, really impressive, winning the ball back, slotting points when he needed to, and just kind of picking out the players around him, which has been most impressive for me. Tony Kelly at 11, I mean, what can you say about Tony Kelly? You know, probably the best hurler in the country right now. I mean, not probably, I mean, I think he is personally. You know, there's not many players that will have a team knocked out before the All-Ireland quarterfinals and still get in the All-Star Hurling Team of the Year. I mean, Tony Kelly might not get in there. There might be players who impress more as the season goes on, with, you know, 3 games still remaining. But right now he gets in there. He's been absolutely unbelievable. You know, stood up when Clare needed him in the game versus Waterford, or not Waterford, I should say, the game versus Cork. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Patrick Collins made that big save, but Tony Kelly always just find himself in the right places at the right time. I mean, scored an unbelievable point from about 60 to 70 yards at one stage. You know, just an exceptional point in the game versus Cork, and overall he's been brilliant in the Wexford game as well. So Tony Kelly getting in, absolutely no question about it. And then in at number 12, like what I was saying, Stephen Bennett of Waterford. I think Stephen Bennett has been brilliant so far for Waterford this year. I mean, getting important goals when Waterford have needed to. He's been brilliant at turning the tide in the Laois game, and, you know, the goal against Galway as well, and also against Tipperary. He's been absolutely brilliant. And look, listen, there were some other options certainly in this position. I mean, we'll see the full forward line in a minute, but maybe you could have brought TJ Reid down. You know, you could have maybe gone with John Donnelly, who's been brilliant for Kilkenny. Martin Keown's been equally impressive as well. Like what I said, Corrode Hegarty maybe could have got in the questions here. But yeah, TJ Reid has been brilliant. Actually, you know, even you could even look at the likes of, you know, your Patrick Horgans even as well, who could maybe get in with a shout. But I have gone with Stephen Bennett. I think he's been exceptional so far for Waterford this year, so he gets in at number 12. And the full forward line, we've Owen Cody at 13, Austin Gleeson of Waterford at 14, and Jack O'Connor of Cork in at 15. Owen Cody, first of all, one of the hurlers of the year so far. Brilliant against Wexford, scoring 1-5. Exceptional all around the pitch. Just, you know, hitting those points when he needed to, winning a lot of ball as well ahead of his man. His movement has generally been brilliant, you know, very sharp, very pacey, and gets away from his man more often than not to slot a point and getting goals as well. And certainly, you know, young hurler of the year last year. He's coming up more into his prime now, and he's definitely one to watch going into these semi-finals. So he gets in at 13. Austin Gleeson really led from the front for Waterford this year. Like, he's really stood up when Waterford have needed him, and that's why he gets in at 14. Scoring 1-3 against Tip, exceptional. Brilliant against Galway as well. Like, just an exceptional hurler, you know. And even going back to last year, from the All-Ireland semi-final onwards, he's been absolutely brilliant. He's been in phenomenal form. He's in brilliant shape, you know, and physically he's such a hard man to knock off the ball that when he gets the ball, you know, he doesn't need much time or space to put it over or to pick out, you know, whether it's Desi Hutchinson or Stephen Bennett. So Austin Gleeson's been absolutely brilliant, getting in at 14. Jack O'Connor in at 15. Like what I said before, Desi Hutchinson really close to getting in here. Was obviously fantastic against Galway, got a goal, or got brilliant against Tip, got a goal on that game. But Jack O'Connor has just been brilliant for Cork. I mean, part of this very dynamic, forward-thinking Cork side that like to get so many men forward, and Jack O'Connor just driving at defences, creating space, creating those goal opportunities. He's been an absolute handful to deal with for defenders so far this year, and you would wonder how Kilkenny are gonna get a hold on him, you know, going into that All-Ireland semi-final. So Jack O'Connor getting in there, absolutely exceptional so far this year for Cork. Completing the team of the season so far, getting in at number 15. Don't think there can be any two doubts about it. So yeah, Jack O'Connor gets in at 15. But anyways, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here. Do let me know down in the comments below what changes you would make to the team, any players potentially I forgot to mention, and yeah, do leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I would kindly appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one.